Hello, everyone. You are with UFO Disclosure Bulgaria, and I'm Ivan Ivanov. We're going to have conversation today with Beverly from UK, very good friend of UFO Disclosure Bulgaria, and also very good friend of me. The conversation with Beverly becomes an adventure across different universes, driven by curiosity about who or what exists beyond our reality. We dive into questions of who we truly are and how far human consciousness can go in its search for infinity. And I want to say, Charlene Armstrong, hello. And now, here's Beverly. Hello, Beverly.
Hi, hello, Ivan. How are you doing?
We're very happy to have you for, I don't know, for which time, but every time when we have a chance to talk each other, I'm very impressed, excited, and thankful for the knowledge I can receive from you.
Oh, that's a pleasure. Also,
So,
I was looking the other day. I found a picture, about 6 pictures of the stone that Clifford Stone had. Remember when you took the pictures of the artifact from the UFO craft? You sent them to me. I've got them, so I'll send them back to you because it's the Clifford Stone.
mhm. Yeah. So, what's new around you? You've been in you participate in the UK conference. Also, finally, your book is almost done.
Almost. Yes, there's just lots of editing and changing and putting explanations of things. So the editors that have been reading it have said, you understand your topic so well, but people that read it won't know what you're talking about. You need to explain it more. So I'm going to have to go back and explain certain bits and pieces and do footnotes and things because some of the concepts are a little bit out there.
Yeah. So what we can find in your book?
Well, the book has got a lot of detail around this 3 cycles of 20 and return. So that is being off world, off the earth, in another environment for 3 times, for 3 sets of 20. So I've done this 3 times. So that in itself is 80 years if we're looking at timeline. So if we add that to my current age, I'm looking at about 120 years old. So it's quite interesting because after the age of about 60, I didn't have to do any more work. I didn't have to go off world. I didn't have to do anything. So my last cycle was 2005, and I was off world from 2005 until 2025, and then age regressed, put back to the time that I was taken, which was in the operating theatre when I was having a procedure on my jaw because I was blown up in the 7th of July 2005 London bombs. So they were fixing my jaw and repairing everything and taking the infection out. It was terrible. And so I was taken back to that time, put back in my body, and then decided that I would run upstairs after I got off the operating table, run upstairs with the horrible theatre gown on, with bits of me hanging out, and went into the waiting room and said, I want to go home now. And so it was quite an interesting time, but that was when I came back and then got on with life. So I've done my duty. I've done my 3 sets of 20 years, and now I'm back and I can basically live my own life.
Okay. So tell us about that conference in the UK. What happened over there? What are you talking about during this conference?
Well, what was very interesting is that there was about 13 or 14 speakers from all over the world, and Miles Johnston is the person that put it all together, and he very bravely flew all sorts of very keen speakers from America and other countries into the UK, got us all down in Wiltshire. So Wiltshire is renowned for like being a UFO corridor in the UK. Plus, it's also the highest number of crop circles, and it's just full of them. Wherever you go, you just see these crop circles all the time. So he decided that he would put together a disclosure project. And this disclosure project, there's a number of different aspects that get covered. And there's going to be another one this year in April, where he's hired a complete aircraft hangar and a runway on an airport. He's hired that. And we're all of us that have had ET connections and UFO connections and off-world connections, we're all going to meet him down there at the airbase, and we're going to do a huge meditation and mass energetics burst to see if we can't get some of the star people in the craft to come and see us and be in the sky. So that's phase 2 of the bases project. We all spoke about our various experiences, so you'll see that there was a couple of very interesting individuals. Draco was one of them. Dr. Amir was fantastic. And of course, Brad Olson was talking about his time in the Alaskan area, what he'd seen, because he was talking about his experience seeing craft. So absolutely amazing. And all of that was filmed, and it's gone out. I think it's gone out on the Bases TV project on his website. But a lot of it was very unusual and a lot of information that wasn't previously known, which was great.
Okay. I'm observing what's going on around the world. I mean, basically, mostly in the United States. I remember first time Dr. Stephen Greer mentioned about disclosure, and he organized huge press conference in Washington D.C. And actually after that, actually during this press conference in D.C., he invited many witnesses, former militaries, civilians, engineers, who with some kind of way they recording appearing this unknown aircraft UFOs in the radar. So that is very serious confirmation about that. Also, I mean, my great friend Clifford Stone, Sergeant Clifford Stone was there. He done very powerful statement about his work in about United States Air Force and all these meetings face by face with non-human intelligence. But anyway, lately, I mean, everybody started talking about disclosure, and when I'm watching very careful everything, actually, I don't see any disclosure because all these guys, even these congressional hearings in DC again, they're talking about yeah, we're not alone in this universe. We recognize all these unknown flying objects, but we don't know who are they, and we don't know anything. But actually, this is about for the public, and that is not a real disclosure. I mean, maybe a month ago, the government financing documentary. was the name. So that documentary basically focused in Louis Alexander, who
Oh,
start talking that Pentagon have the Pentagon this, and they make him in that video. Actually, he's something like a hero. I mean, he's not a hero. It's my opinion, and I don't want to offend him. And also, uh, everything what he said during this documentary,
mm.
that not was a disclosure, but the name of the movie was the name of the movie is The Age of Disclosure.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you saw this movie,
Not
but
yet.
that is super fake.
Oh,
So
wow.
what to say that we're doing that disclosure means
Mm, yeah.
to tell the public excuse me, what we exactly knew about these visitors.
Mm,
Who are they? Why they coming here? Or maybe they've been in this planet forever. And what are they asking from us?
yeah.
So, do you have any answers of these questions?
I think that the visitors have been here on and off for centuries and centuries. You know, if you just have to look at some of the items that were left behind, you know, you look at that big column in Delhi that is made from steel that never rusts. It's centuries and centuries old. Nobody knows where it came from. It's got all sorts of hieroglyphs and images on the side of the pillar. Nobody knows what it is. So there's that. Then you've got all of the pyramids. You've got these amazing sites that are across all of the Americas. And, you know, you've got Machu Picchu. You've got all these areas where there's specific areas where people realize that there is no way that with these stone tools and cutting tools that individuals would have been able to create these huge monuments and these amazing structures just with a little tiny, you know, a tiny old implement and scratching away in the sand. We know that that's not possible. And now I think with, you know, acoustic resonance and the acoustic levitation, it's been proven that, you know, small blocks of wood, big rocks, and these sort of things can all be lifted using acoustics and using sound. So I think that eventually the scientific community will work out how these amazing monuments were put together, but they were put together by our collective ancestors. So those of us that are on Earth, we all come from the stars. I do believe that. I believe we all have a bit of stardust in us.
Um, you have contacts, telepathy contacts, I guess, with different kinds. Uh, I don't want to say creatures,
They're beings. Beings.
entities. What they tell you recently? Some kind of message, maybe?
The ones that I'm in contact with, his name is Da'a, and he's more of a scientific vessel. What he does is he finds different planets across all the universes and galaxies, and he finds those that are ready to be terraformed, and then he evaluates what the atmosphere, what's happening on that planet, and then he will go back into the craft and they will work out what the level of sustainable life could be for that planet, what flora, fauna, trees, mountains, water, what is necessary, and then he will then make a suggestion of the type of life forms that could be on that planet. And that then is taken on by another set of beings, which is the dwarf mantis beings. They're particularly good at DNA, and they design a lot of beautiful animals and people and creatures and all sorts of beautiful things, including plants and trees and whatever it is that you can think of. They can design it with their DNA. That's how clever they are. So that's what he does. He doesn't really, he's not one of those beings that comes back with a message. He's never sort of done that. It's more about, if I get questions and there's things that I want to know, then I will telepathically send that message to them, to him, and say, this is my question at the moment. What do you think? Could you give me some sort of a download or give me a transmission about, you know, what is the answer to this? You know, what are we doing? What is the current status? You know, are you aware of anything that's happening that humans on this planet could benefit from? And that's what he does, is occasionally he'll send something through where he's answered something about, you know, what's happening, particularly about the changes in the Earth's crust, because that was the latest aspect, was that he had said that when they were looking and doing a trajectory of the crust of the Earth's changes, there is a big shift that's happening in the sea underneath the ocean and underneath the sea floor, and that shift is going to cause a stretching of the Earth's crust, which will then cause things like tsunamis, tidal waves, even possibly earthquakes or tremors. So, and that's going to be happening sort of more towards where Japan is situated, in the sea. So those sort of things, we know that if that moves, it's going to jolt the sea, and that means the sea's currents are going to be changing, and the way that the sea ocean is going to be formed will be different. So that was the one thing that he had said, that this is what they're looking at the moment, to see why is Gaia reacting to solar flares, reacting to the changes to the sun. Because I'm sure we've all realized that when we look at the sun, it used to be a bright yellow sun, and now when you look at it in the sky, it's white. It's a white sun. So there are big changes. So I said to him, well, what's going to happen to us? Is there something that we should all know about? And he said, well, we're just looking at what the changes would be for the Earth's crust.